So now that we have the Ubuntu restarted, we've backed up the hard disks, and only the hard drive which Windows is installed on is in the computer. We can now move ahead to installing Ubuntu. So we arrive back at this screen, and from here installing Ubuntu is a fairly simple matter. We click Install Ubuntu. You want to make sure that it does download updates, and you might want third-party software. That just means you can play MP3s and a few other formats. It's always good to make sure that your computer is always up to date, which is a lot easier with Linux, I've found, than other operating systems. And you want to make sure you're installing it alongside Windows. Now you can change the amount of space Windows and Ubuntu will take up. Ubuntu doesn't need as much space as Windows probably will. There'll be a minimum space Windows can take, but you probably want to give Windows more space. Ubuntu you can get away with giving only, say, 30 gigabytes of space for everything. You can do less, but that would put you at give you less space to work with. If you have a 750 gigabyte or 1 terabyte hard drive, you can give them both 200. You can give Linux 200 gigs. It generally doesn't need more than about 80 to run fine. Once you've decided how much space you want to give either of them, you can just click Install Now. You can click Continue if you're absolutely certain that's what you want to do. This will get ready and move on to the next part. So you want to make sure you have your time set properly. Now I live in Sydney, so we're going to keep it with Sydney. Your computer will generally have recorded the time zone that it's in and what the time is. If you live in England, you'll want to go with your UK keyboard. If you live in Australia or US or anywhere that uses the US keyboard, you want to keep it with English US. Now you can enter in your name, so John Doe will be the name of the owner of the computer. You can change what you want it to call the computer. You need to have a username because Linux is a user-based system and it uses your username for security reasons. You also need to have a password for other security reasons, such as installing software. It won't let you get away without having a password. So make sure your password is something complicated and not something like a ABC123. Make sure it's a long password and a strong password, and then just type in it again, so not ABC123. Make sure they match. Now you can set it in to log you in automatically, which will log you in without needing your password if you want, if you're the only person that uses the computer. This does mean that people will have access to your files, which is fine. They won't be able to alter the system without the password though. And once that's done, you can connect to Ubuntu One, but it's not necessary, so we'll just log in later. And that will install Ubuntu for you. You get a nice slideshow here to show you about all the features Ubuntu has. If you want to find out more about Ubuntu, just look through their website. There's a lot of people that have done videos on YouTube as well, so plenty of spaces to find out more about Ubuntu. Might even find you want to start using it for a few other things as well. can see how the install is doing here. It'll show you the setup status. Now I'll pause this now and get back to you once this is done, which will be now. So as you can see, the install is complete, and it's asking me to restart. So I'm going to simply press restart. Now, if you are using an install of Windows 8 or a newer version of Windows 7, you will need to deal with EFI booting. What that requires you to do is go into your BIOS and disable secure booting. Now when you restart the computer, you'll end up with this menu, which will allow you to choose between Ubuntu, memory test, or Windows. If you have EFI, you will need to boot into Ubuntu and install Refind. That's fairly easy to do once you've logged into Ubuntu and Ubuntu has started up. Just open this video and there will be a link for Refind in the description. All you have to do is download that file and install it through the package manager, which it will open with. But as you can see, you now have Ubuntu. That's all it takes. So this is the Ubuntu desktop. So once you have Ubuntu installed, we can go ahead with configuring it for your computer and for your tastes, which is the next video. So yeah, on with that.